if you guys are actually watching this, that means that I've been chosen to be on ThunderStruckGaming, and if that is the case, I want to thank Thunder right out of the batter's box for taking the time out to showcase my channel and my commentary here. Now, there's a reason why Thunder is the fastest growing Call of Duty channel in the community, and ThunderStruckGaming is one of those reasons. Most of the big name YouTubers in the COD community, in the gaming community in general, they're just too busy to interact with people that made them, their fans, their subscribers. The only thing that they're busy with is lining their wallets, re-uploading trailers to big name titles just to earn a profit. You know, you're not going to find many in the community today that is actually willing to help smaller channels get showcased, whether it's by a channel such as Thunderstruck, a simple like on a YouTube video, a retweet on Twitter. You know, that's something that those guys don't understand. Thunder understands that, and he goes even above and beyond that, and I thank him for that. But as for me, guys, my name is JD. I'm from New York, the Bronx to be exact, born and raised, and instead of me talking about myself, everything you guys need to know about me and what I do here on YouTube is in my channel trailer, which is the very first video you'll see when you go to my channel. But what I really want to talk about is something that I've had thrown in my face several times, especially in the last couple of weeks. And I know Thunder made a commentary on this a while back as well, and that is being too old to be a gamer. I want you guys to repeat that. You are too old to be a gamer. That is probably the most ridiculous thing I have ever heard of. And I'd love for someone to find the memo on this, saying that once you reach a certain age, once you reach a certain limit, that you're not allowed to game anymore. Now, I was pretty much born with an NES controller on my hands. My parents started me off at a very young age gaming, 4 or 5 years old. I remember my dad unboxing the original NES system with the old school robot back in the 80s, which I do think he actually still has that thing wrapped up, beautiful in mint condition. God knows how much that thing is worth. But we had the old school robot, we had mountains of games, and I'm going to go completely over everyone's head with these titles. Some of you may know, some of you may not know. But Million Secret Castle, Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, Pro Wrestling, Rad Racer, Kung Fu, Crystalis, RC Pro-Am, Contra, Double Dribble. I can go on and on. Me personally, I was into Super Mario, with Super Mario 3 still being the absolute best Mario in the franchise, with Super Mario RPG being a very close second, in my honest opinion. There's nothing better at a young age than getting the red leaf and flying around a raccoon suit in Mario 3. That was an exciting time to be a young kid. I'm also big into Mega Man. I love all the Mega Mans, Castlevania, Legend of Zelda, Metroid. These are all-time classics that still stand the test of time. And it's going to be a very difficult task for any individual to actually find games even now in 2013 that can rival those franchises. I would actually go out and spend $1,000 on a brand new Nintendo system just to play the new Legend of Zelda game. That's how great those games are. And I honestly mean that. Now, we obviously all grow up. You know, we're trying to figure out what we want to do with our lives, whether it's school, full-time work, whether we put most of our time into a relationship, getting married, starting a family, having kids, whatever the case may be. Gaming is something that is one of those things that you acquire at a young age, and it never leaves you. That desire to game is always going to be there. Now, my passion for gaming was actually enhanced more than ever. A few years back, I went through a very, very rough patch in my life, very depressed. I was living in New Jersey. I moved back to New York to be closer to my grandparents who are very sick right now. And I had a job of 5 years while I was in New York City. 5 years I was employed. All of a sudden I was fired. Unemployed, and I had gaming. That's all I had was gaming. I had gaming to fill that void, that emptiness that I was feeling. After months, after weeks, days, you know, it seemed like it was never going to end. You know, I put on a suit and tie, walked the streets of Manhattan, going door to door, business to business, handing out resume after resume, and I got absolutely nothing close to a response as far as the job goes. I felt hopeless, you know, but I came home and I filled that emptiness with something that took my mind away from all the negativity, and that was gaming. Gaming to me has never come with any negatives, so The idea of people telling me, oh, you suck. Stop yelling at the game. You're nothing but an old rager who lives in his mother's basement. That's baffling to me. You know, that's baffling to me. And by the way, I'm talking about Black Ops 2, which is the absolute worst Call of Duty experience ever. And that is all I will mention of that garbage in this commentary. The game is an embarrassment. Vonderhaar is a failure. That's all I'm going to say about that. And Thunder knows I hate Vonderhaar. I mean, I don't hate him, but he's a failure. He's a failure for Black Ops 2. It's the worst game ever. But anyway, back to the commentary. I'm doing something that I have done for most of my life leading into adulthood. That I very much enjoy doing now. Even more so than when I was younger. I'm doing something now that has led me to meet some great people through social media outlets such as Twitter, YouTube, and it has led me to meet people who have an understanding of where I come from in regards to being a gamer. And just from that alone, I don't think I can find any negativity with being a gamer, no matter how old I am. And my dad, I'm going to end this commentary with my dad. 51 years old. Without question, the hardest working man I know of. He works 60 hours plus a week, has the worst hours you can think of, working in Manhattan, working late overnight shifts while everyone is sleeping. He's just getting in from work as people are getting up to go to their jobs, to go sit in their cozy offices, working 9 to 5. My dad is 51 years old and a gamer. Not just a gamer, but a big-time gamer. He just bought himself, listen to this, he just bought himself a brand new gaming computer. He's playing BioShock right now with BioShock 2, BioShock Infinite, the new Tomb Raider, and Crysis 3, all sitting on his computer desk right now, lined up, eventually waiting to be played. He just constructed my brother's old bedroom into his own personal game and movie room, decorated in full New York Giants blue. Now, I know the Giants suck, but that's what he wanted to do. And the simple fact that he works as much as he does, he does shit around the house on the weekends. He manages to spend time with my mother and take her out, on top of keeping up with his hobby. That is fucking awesome to me. I hope I'm as cool as my dad when I'm 51. I actually can't wait to have kids, and hopefully I have a son. And I get my son into video games like my dad did with me. I'm going to teach him everything I know. Teach him about what we played when I was young, dust off those old classics, and hand them down to him and tell him, this is what we used to do. And I want him to tell his kids about that. Again, there's no negatives about being an individual, no matter how old you are, playing video games. So the next time you watch someone on YouTube or you see someone older who enjoys gaming, and they are much older than you are, think before you actually say something. Gaming doesn't come with an expiration. It's not a carton of milk. It's a fine bottle of wine. It only gets better with age. My name is JD. Hope you enjoyed the commentary. I'll talk to you guys soon.